Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Faisal, and I'm from Pavilion Capital. And today we have quite interesting discussion lined up for this panel on the topic of regionalization and expanding beyond your home market. So happy to introduce our two panelists. On my right here, Melvin, who is the CEO and co-founder of RPG Commerce, and also Kevin, CEO and founder of Inteluck. Both of them have been chosen specifically because they have been successful in entering new markets, and I'm sure that we'll be able to learn from all their lessons and experiences here today. So maybe to kick things off, why don't we just get our panelists to give a brief intro on their companies and which sectors they are in. So Melvin, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. Hey guys, my name is Melvin. One of the co-founder and CEO of RPG Commerce. We're a Series B company backed by East Ventures Growth. Raised our Series B about 2 years ago now. As a company, we're a house of consumer brands. We build instead of we acquire consumer brands, and today we are quite omni-channel as an entire business. Started digitally in the US region, very focused in the North America, based out of Malaysia, leveraging the supply chain in China. But of course, today we are quite globally as well. The main markets are Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and of course the North America as well as our entire business. We have a portfolio of 6 brands under the entire house of brands, and also operate about 40 over retail stores today across Malaysia, Singapore, and we're in fact about to launch our store in Dubai as well. So very much of a consumer house of brands, omni-channel as a play. Thanks.
Kevin?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin. I'm the founder and CEO of Inteluck. Inteluck, actually, we're providing the end-to-end logistics services across the Southeast Asia. So we, in the stage of us, we just closed the Series C fundraising last year, around $36 million US. And so far, we're headquartered based in Singapore, but we operate in the Philippines and Thailand. We're also expanding to the Malaysia and Vietnam. So technically, we provide more like on the global forwarding, domestic cross-border transportation, warehousing, and distribution services. So far, we have provided our services to over 400 enterprises. We are a purely B2B basis, and we are the biggest transportation provider for Nestle in the Philippines and P&G, Coca-Cola, those FMCG customers. And at the same time, we are also providing our logistics services to telecommunication, pharmacy, e-commerce, and also manufacturing industry. In Thailand, we are the biggest global forwarding provider for one of the largest chemical company called Brintech. So moving forward, that overall we are expanding our data-driven logistics services across the whole region. Yeah, thank you.
So I remember when I first met Kevin back in 2022. I remember that meeting because when he told us that he moved from China to the Philippines where he started Inteluck, he actually didn't speak any word of English, right? So yeah, Kevin, could you share, the challenges that you had during the early days when you started Inteluck in a very foreign country for you?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I grew up in China, so the first time I arrived in the South Asia and the Philippines, that was 2014, so I don't know how to speak English, In China, in my age, we do the examination English. So we just memorize a word and we do the examination, but we don't speak. So, but when I first arrived in the Philippines, it was really exciting because I really love the culture and people there. So what I have to do is I have to write down all the things I want to see, and then I translate, I memorize, I repeat up to 2-3 a.m. every day. The second day, I just do that way. So that's the first start of it. Afterwards, because I really love the whole culture of the South Asia, and then I decided to know the country more better. I bought a second cards. I drive around the Philippines, all the country. I spent around months time. I almost died twice. I go meet different person, talk to different people. So along the way, that's a time that we meet one of the largest logistic company in the Philippines, and owner told me that, oh, Kevin, I have some pain points on my fleet management, because my major is management information system. When I was 18 years old, I began to develop my apps. So that's a time we step into the logistic industry by providing the SaaS solutions for the logistic company in the Philippines way back to 2015, 2016. So after some time that we have one of our customer, they are the biggest cake store in the Philippines. So they are asking me, so hey Kevin, that you have connect a lot of number of the trucks. You analyze every process of logistics, and your customer for all of that are in different sectors. So instead of you provide a SaaS solution for us, so why not you provide the deliver services or transportation services to us directly? So that's the time we step into the logistics itself, and since then we begin to grow, and our average revenue I think grew like almost double every year. So from full truckload transportation up to the global forwarding, up to warehousing, from Philippines, one country, to Thailand and to others. Yes, that is basically general.
Yeah, let's look at Inteluck later on in more detail. But first, let's talk about Melvin. You worked and lived in many cities across Southeast Asia, Australia, Silicon Valley as well. How has your global experience actually helped shape your thinking on regional expansion?
Sure. As a context, I grew up in a small town in Malaysia. I was fortunate that my parents sent me abroad to Melbourne. I spent about 7 years in Melbourne, a year in SF to do my internship. And essentially, coming back home to Malaysia, I only came back to Southeast Asia in late 2018, so about 6 years back home. And I think one of the attraction point coming back to Southeast Asia was, I think Southeast Asia was a very fragmented sort of market, but at the same time was also very exciting in terms of cost of living. When we started out very early of RPG, I was a single person founder at that point, building the US market, live out of Southeast Asia, leveraging a supply chain in China. I thought I was living the life at 23-year-old, making US dollar and live in Southeast Asia currency. So that was the gist of why I came back to Southeast Asia. And eventually, I think we were also very focused in just the US market as our first market all along when we started our RPG. And the whole reason was because we were a D2C or consumer brand. It was very much leveraging on performance marketing, creative marketing, and supply chain. But I think when we post-COVID, we had to face the downturn as any consumer company in 2022, which is a very, very tough downturn. And we were very desperate at the point because we raised our Series B. I raised a $29 million Series B round. We were valued at about 130 over million. And eventually, the first board meeting we went in and was like, hey, I think we're going to cut our projection by 50%. And then, of course, the board wasn't happy about it, and we had to change and pivot the markets that were profitable. And markets that were profitable to us was Malaysia, Singapore, Australia, and the Middle East. And essentially, that moved us into building omni-channel retail stores. And today, as a group, we have about 38 retail locations. And by the end of the year, we will have 50 locations. And very much from a digital, online, D2C, I think now today we are about 60% omni, 40% omni-channel, 60% digital. So I think going back to regional expansion, we emphasize a lot on localizations. We have small local teams that are established in Malaysia, Singapore, Australia, and now the most latest is in the Gulf region, the GCC. And I think for us as a company, the only way to replace what we have lost in the US market is potentially the GCC region. And what we do a lot at a point of time is and I believe in localization marketing, localization team, and they understand the current market and whatnot. So a big part of it is just a lot of localizations for us as a consumer company.
Okay, and let's talk about expansion into new markets for now. Kevin, you moved to Thailand just a couple of years after starting your Philippines operations. When do you realize it was the right time for you to start new operations in Thailand? And were there any hesitations from the rest of the management and also the board?
Okay. Actually, since beginning that we locate ourselves as a regional player, so because we believe that together with the whole process and the strengths of the team and everything that we are able to do the expansion in the regional, and it also have a bigger market. So actually, it's not really difficult for us to make a decision that we need to do the regional expansion in the first place. So from our team internal. At the same time, actually, our shareholders or board, actually, they are coming from different regions. So we have investors from like East Venture in Indonesia. We also have like from the Hong Kong, China, and Korea, and Japan, and in other regions as well. Actually, in terms of the shareholders side, actually, they're very supportive. So they also introduced us to different friends or connections in different regions to support us to do that. But about the timing or the when is the time that we decide to do it, because we are a B2B company, even though we are a light asset, so we do not really own the trucks. We connect with over like 16,000 trucks in different type of vehicle, but we are on heavy operation. So the operation is very heavy, and every process, every detail actually that directly decide the customer specification. And logistics is 24/7, never stop, and then you never know what will happen. So when we run around like at least around 2 years time, so that's the time we have experience from one single industry of the customer across to different industry of customer. Then we are able to practice different process because every customer, even for the basic full truckload transportation, the handling way, their documentation, their requirement, their timing, all are different. So when the time that we had most of experience, then that's the time that we decide to do the expansion on the first place. On the other hand, then during the whole operation of us, that as you can see, many of our customers, they are international. So such as like FMC, Nestle, P&G, Coca-Cola, Oppo, TCL, Huawei, so different customers. So when they experience our services in the Philippine market, actually they are also encourage us, hey, why not when you guys going to Thailand, we also need you guys here, and when you guys going to other country. So actually that during the time we are accumulate those customer requirements, and then I think after around 2 years time, I think that's a moment that we decide to expand, yeah.
Looking back into your entry into Thailand, would you have done anything differently?
Honestly speaking, nope. The reason is not because that I don't think that maybe every action or every decision in the moment we did it absolutely or precisely correct or maximize the value by the time, but I do believe so during the time that consider all the condition, resources, and experience and everything that we have, we are making the best choice by the time. So one thing that I always told myself is no regrets. We do very, very hard working every single day. So before we enter the market, we have to do the 40 research. We have to connect every single things, and then every day we put enough time on our daily work, not only me, the whole of my team. So now you look it back, so you will think, oh, the things, if we can't do this, it's much better. But by that time, maybe the resources or the things are not that enough. So those are decisions that we made by the time. So I can say for now, yeah, all the things we have done, I think it's okay for me. Yeah.
Melvin, for RPG, you guys are also in different countries. You mentioned GCC, you guys are in Australia and also Southeast Asia. And at the same time, your manufacturing is in China, and you yourself is based out of Malaysia. You know, what are the challenges that you face in running such a company with global operations?
It's honestly, it's really tough. I think we approach expansion during COVID and post-COVID is probably very different today. If you look back, if you were to go back to RPG 3 years ago, we were in about 30 over countries as a business. And as a consumer business, being in a lot of countries sounds amazing on paper, but operationally it's super challenging because we are a consumer company. We have inventory in each of the local warehouses. At the peak, we have about 8 3PL warehouses that are running globally. And when it comes to managing thousands of SKUs, it was just really tough for us. But I think today, after COVID, we sort of approach our expansion very, very different. As a consumer business, we always believe that the density should be focused country by country rather than multi-country at the same time. Back then, we were like, let's go 10 countries at the same time because we were leveraging meta. So we do performance, creative, let's go every country, whichever has the lowest CPC, CPM, we will conquer the country. But that was not sustainable in the long term. It works in the short term. But today, we do a lot of retail business. So it involves a lot of human relationships, spending a lot of time with the mall owners, with the leasing team. For instance, in Dubai as well. In order to get a location, we've been spending time since May last year, and we are only getting our location April next year. Right? So end to end is about 2 years cycle to even launch to the market, getting to know the mall network, and essentially securing a retail space. But I think ultimately that become a moat in the business because it's not an overnight barrier that someone else could enter. And same in Malaysia and Singapore. Today we are about 40 of our own retail stores. That allow us to sort of protect our moat quite a bit because all these tenancies are about 3 years, and we are on renewal every 3 years as well. So as long as the mall protects us, we protect the brand, it's pretty much quite defensible in a place. So I think as a consumer business today, spending a lot of time on the ground with building relationships, getting the best locations, and I always say I think in the consumer business, it's not just the brand and the product, but it's the distribution channels and the access to all these real estates that is crucial to us, and hence just a lot of time on the ground helps.
So you recently expanded to the GCC area. Just curious on, what are the data points that you look at when you decide to expand into a country?
Back to being very, very on the ground. Last year and this year, we've been spending about 3 weeks. I spent about 3 weeks in May in Saudi and in UAE, and the way to do it was really going on the ground and speak to consumer brands that has a lot of retail presence on the ground and get signals and understanding on where are the markets moving towards to. And of course, we look at a lot of our competitor brands on marketplaces, Noon in UAE, Amazon, and sort of try to, because we are also looking at M&A at the same time. So we were built on the model of being an aggregator and also brand builder. So I could come into the market and sort of trying to do some M&A in the market to acquire smaller brands, and through that, we also get together quite a bit of data on the ground. But at the same time, I think it's just a lot of networking and essentially understanding. And why we picked GCC was because it's a region with one of the highest consumer spending power. Arabic as the main language across the entire region, a lot replicable than Southeast Asia. Initially, we were toying the idea between Thailand or GCC. But of course, GCC became the pick for us, and now we established a team there. Was because the entire duplication that could happen across the entire Gulf region. So that's how we look at the market as well.
You also mentioned localization as being part of your strategy, right? Yeah. And especially if you're in Western and also Asian markets, how important is it to you? And what's your localization strategy across the different markets?
Hence, these days we always have local team. So my local team in the UAE, it's fully Arabic team because we are penetrating the Arabic market. The way we do marketing, the way we approach call to action, the way we think about customer service are very, very localized. Because like it or not, COD is still a big thing in the GCC region. And of course, people are still calling and WhatsApping you to buy something in that side of the world. So I think we focus a lot on localizations, and my big aspiration that I always say is in consumer brand is Nestle or Milo, right? That people always think that Milo is from the country that you live in, but in fact, Milo is not a local brand in the country that you live in. So I think they have one of the best localization strategy, and that's how we do it all the way from product to marketing to customer service, logistics, and every part of it.
And Kevin, for your Thailand and Philippines market, they must be pretty different. How has localization played a part in your strategy, whether it's talking to external parties such as vendors, clients, or even building an internal team when it comes to culture?
Okay. Actually, I noticed the word of localization is just these years because when, especially I think more companies come into Southeast Asia, so everyone's talking about localization. But actually, I think there are two parts. First, I think it's about the mindset of me. So I don't think that there for every people that we have any differences in terms of the nationality or gender or beliefs or anything. I think we're all just a very small, tiny creature that live in this planet, and we're just like a dust in the universe. So there's no any difference of us. So of course, that every country that we have different or belief religions, that is the thing that I'm very interested and really respect of it. So because of this mindset, so actually I'm very quite like local. So the second part is when we compose our team that no matter in each country, each region, that we are looking and invited the guys that we share the same value. We share some value. We have every people have different personality, but the value actually is similar. So that's how we compose each team in each country. And of course, on the business part, you really have to do all the technical works. So you have to study all on the demand side, on the supply side. But one common thing, or this is also precondition for us to expansion, that in the Southeast Asia or in the global wise for the enterprises logistics, both on the demand and supply, so the allocation is almost the same. So enterprises actually, they have occupy almost the biggest volume in terms of the transportation, and the SMEs occupy biggest number of it. And on the other hand is, on the vendor side is in all the regions, Southeast Asia and globally, so they are all the small or micro companies. So this actually is the same in every country. So the process and system that we have built up actually give us the condition that to support that, yeah.
Okay, we only have 5 minutes left, so maybe just a bit of advertising for East Ventures. How has East Ventures helped both of you throughout your journey as a startup founder? Melvin, do you want to go first?
Sure. I just saw he came in and went out. So, luckily. No, I think East has been very, very helpful on the board, especially opening doors for us in retail and even in Singapore as well. They've been very supportive of us. I mean, they led our Series B round in 2022. And the first board meeting, like I mentioned earlier, was to say, hey, I'll cut 50% because I want to control burn. I need to preserve cash. And I think at a point, of course, they were very supportive. And thankfully, we did that. We still have about 70-80% of what we raised 2 years ago. So in the sense, of course, there was a bit of hoo-ha on the board. But essentially, working as a board member, putting founders first, and really sitting me down to understand why I wanted to be defensive rather than aggressive. Because I think everyone that raised capital in end of 2021 or early 2022 will have gone all out and spent at least 50% of them. But I think at that point, I was just very paranoid and say, hey, I don't want to spend. I just want to pull back. I need to cut stuff and things like that. And they were there every part of the way to work through, and Ben is back here. And he was there to help us, to sit us down, walk us through every part of it. So I think that was really, and people always say you want to get in bed with an investor that you can call during tough times and good times. And I think East Ventures Growth at least was there for me every part of the way.
Okay, I think I can divide into like pre-investment and after investment. So in the pre-investment, because in things or Series B and Series C, so East Venture or Join 8. So because every round that we receive a term sheet actually is fast. So but East Venture I think are very in a very I think efficient speed. But I think this speed when they make the decision is not because just pure fast. It's because they know the market, they know the players, they know every single thing. So actually that I think is a very good impression since the first time before they invest us. And after invest, because we experienced 2 funds of the East Venture from I think the seed fund goes to the growth fund. So in the seed fund actually they give us I think most of the support team introduce us different resources or connections, help us to grow. And on the growth fund, actually, we're also on the same page because every month we're having meeting, we're looking at all the numbers. So every single detailed financial numbers, then we're having all those alignments. I think that's also good because while a company continue growth, the focus or stage are different, and I think they're all the EV guys are quite professional. Yeah.
We're running out of time, but maybe I'll give the chance to the panelists to share any noteworthy news on the companies that you guys are running, or personal stuff. You guys are getting married or having a baby. You guys can share that as well. Melvin.
No, nothing so personal. Still, I think in terms of company, of course, potentially if anyone. That if anyone has retail network that we're expanding, we are looking at Indonesia right now. We have a partner to expand in Indonesia, but of course, opening doors to retail malls here will be very helpful. We'll basically duplicate the same strategy that we have done in Malaysia, Singapore, and Middle East, and now in Indonesia as well. So, please help. Please reach out to me. Happy to see if we can do anything together.
Personal things. Besides, I'm the founder and CEO of the company. I'm also a MMA and Muay Thai fighter, so I do my practice. This is actually what I have learned during the practice of it, especially when we're same with our business operation. When we're living in the keep changing environment, I think the most important is we should always focus on the foundation. So our foundation of our business, our customer, vendors, your people, your organization, your operation efficiency, your financials. So because we're training with those world champions, that I'm able to close to them to see how they really daily life it is. No matter how good they are or how top skill they have, but every single day they focus on their foundations. I think that's very important for also our business operation. Yeah. So no matter how the environment changes, as long as you are solid enough that you are keeping providing the value to your customer and vendors and your people and organization, I think that will be the best things for you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, time's up. And hope you guys have learned quite a lot from both Kevin and Melvin. Maybe we can give them a round of applause.